Fáilte Rovisteach go Suantraí. You're very welcome to Suantraí, where we're looking at the readings for tomorrow. That is the 23rd of August, Wednesday, and the feast of Nave Eoghan, or Saint Eugene, who's the patron of the Diocese of Derry. Eugene was actually a Leinster man, and what happened St. Patrick happened in the opposite way around. He was kidnapped by Britons and taken to Britain as a slave. While he's there, he either escaped or the monks that he got involved with bought him and set him free, and he becomes involved with Christian monks there in Britain, and he goes on from Britain to Brittany, and from there he returns to Ireland and he establishes a monastery near Tala in Leinster, in his home place. But he feels called by God to find his place of resurrection, and he goes up into the north to near where Derry city is today and founds a monastery there. It's his place of resurrection, the place not alone where he will rise on the last day, but in this life where he found the fullness of life of the gospel and played a major role for Christ. It's also the feast of Rose of Lima, who was a mystic and is the first person born in the Americas who is a canonized saint. There's more about both of them under the video on YouTube. Now, the first reading tomorrow is taken from the book of Judges, and it's a story of how the people of Israel are petulant. They're like teenagers. Not that I know what it's like to raise teenagers, but I'm told they can be difficult. And they want to be like the other nations and have a king. What they have is a theocracy where God raises up judges to help them and to look after them and care for them in their own time. But they have no king. God is their king. They want to change that. And as my mum and dad used to say when I was small, if someone wants to be crazy, give them enough rope and they'll tie themselves up in knots. And of course this is what happens, because King Saul comes along and he's an absolute disaster. But God is so good, he will even work with us in our brokenness. He brings along King David to work with the monarchy. And David is, we're told in the sacred scriptures, is a man with a heart like God. And of course that's reflected in the beautiful psalms that David wrote, such as "The Lord is my shepherd." The gospel tomorrow, there's a beautiful line in it. Why be resentful? Because I am generous. God is very generous to you and me. He's given us wonderful gifts and talents and abilities. But he's also sent wonderful people into our lives. People who encourage us, our parents, our grandparents, neighbours, brothers, sisters, community. People who witness the gospel to us and enrich our lives. We often take them for granted. You know, the gospel asks why be resentful, because God is generous. But I think it's important that we are grateful to God for the good things that he has done for us. And that we have found people. I think it's very important to tell people while they're still alive what they mean to us, rather than all of these homilies or whatever after they die. If there are people in your lives who have been very good to you, who've played a major part in your life, who've given you love and compassion and hope and companionship on the journey, in the next week, just make it known to them how much you appreciate them. It might be a phone call, it could be you send them a card. Whatever it is, let them know how much you appreciate them. With thoughts such as this, let us go to our beds and let us pray that we shall indeed waken in the morning with the praise of God on our hearts and on our lips. Agus gamana dia ilakok shiv, ahar mak agus spirit nave. Amen. Slán go fóill. Bye for now.